Where do I start? A lot in comparison to what I could have been offered back home. I come from abroad, therefore it is the university sort of scheme and all this whole higher education, it's completely different to what the UK offers. And the domain I wanted to go into, media, I didn't have that many options back home, and I knew it's quite a big thing here in the UK, like with television and film as well. So I knew I would definitely get the best out of it here. And yeah, that's what's been offered. That's why the university has been offering to me a good chance, actually. And obviously meeting new people, making connections, and just overall, I think, a nice experience, honestly. So yeah. Well, I'm gonna start with a little bit of a story, actually. This is an example from back home. It is seen as not necessarily like mandatory, but it's almost like when you finish high school, we have high school then university back home. We don't have like the college or in between what it is that's here in the UK. So when you finish high school at 18 years old, or even a little bit earlier, everyone is expecting you to go to university, and it's a little bit of expected, oh, you have to go to. And most people do, because family already don't know what to do. The good thing is it's free back home, university, so you do see a lot of people applying, but on the downside, because there's so many people applying, obviously not everyone gets in. So I think about the whole, is it okay, like, do I have to go to university, do I want to go to university? They're two completely different things, and I would say just lay it down all on the table, think about it. Is it definitely worth it? Is this what I want to do? It's not. I, for example, came to university because I knew I wanted to, try the media, even though I didn't do anything before that. I come from a maths and informatics course. But the fact that I had a passion and I wanted to go into media, I was like, I want to pursue that, like in higher education. So yes, it would be worth it to, go to university and study this. So to rephrase that, I think it is important to think, do I want to pursue a certain career path or a certain domain path, and university would offer it, doing research, and the outcome, what would it be like, and thinking about it, and obviously laying all this on the table and trying to come out with an answer. Yeah, it is worth it if you do the research. Like, you got to do the research before you go into it, in my opinion anyway, and knowing what you get yourself into, because like I'm saying, back home it is free, but then on the other side, not everyone gets in. Here, it costs, so you gotta think about that as well. Then you finish with being in debt. But overall, again, think about what you get yourself into and if it is worth it. And personally, for myself, it was worth it. So because back home it is free, like most of them are free. We do have private ones as well where you gotta pay, but with most of them being free, there's the extra step that comes in between. Not only do you have to, like, they look at your final exams and grades and everything, you do have an entry exam as well to get into that university. And there's a limited amount of free space, like places. Then there's a couple that are with tax, that's how we call them, like tax places, where you actually have to pay. So if you really want to get in as well, but there's no places left for the free ones, you can, if you get into the tax ones, you can just pay. So sort of that's how the systems works back home. Whereas here, obviously, you have the grades that you got, and then there's the free, if there's any free spaces left, you can just get in and everything. I actually did research going into like a film university back home, or anything like media, television. But there's not a lot of them, and the entry exam is quite complex, and there's only like 10 places or something like that. So obviously the people that are applying, there's loads of them, limited amounts, so it's quite hard to get in. It has to do a lot with the country that, like all the films or media related projects that are in that country. Because I did research into getting into the only film university / school in where I was from in Bucharest, and the exam wouldn't have been easy at all. Because I did in high school maths and informatics, I knew I didn't have necessarily a lot of experience or background. And I thought, oh, I might not get in. And when looking at past exams, like examples that they give you, a lot of it was theory. Like I didn't see much practice, and I knew I wanted to do practice because in my free time I did everything that's creative, like writing, music-wise, playing the guitar. I always liked, think about anything creative, and I wanted to apply that. So I knew I wanted to do something practical. But the exam wouldn't have been practical at all. Like I knew there was loads of questions like, this film, like it's Romanian film, appeared in what year and who was the director? Oh, could you talk about it? There's a written part, there's like an interview, like where you talk to the not exam board, the entry level, what's it called?
Interviewer.
Like the interviewer from there. So, I decided I don't want to do this. I can't. It's not that practical. I did go to like an open day, and I saw the 10 students that actually could get in, and they were actually still using film, and which is not quite that common nowadays. A lot of universities are doing like film related courses, because it is expensive. So I think that's like a star bonus about doing film back home. So again, it is hard to get in. The exam is hard, and I think it would have been worth it. But I knew I wouldn't get like the best of chance. It was a lot of theory, not practical. So that's why I looked into somewhere else. There's no like straight answer to it. There's obviously some like positives and negatives, but overall, for what I did and the course that I did and the people that I met, connections that I made, it is definitely worth it. Like I feel the past 3 years that I've spent here, I've grown so much as a person. I actually got to practice my English skills, because back home, it's not like I can talk every day when I go with my friends or family to talk English. So I was so happy coming here, and I knew like, I wanted to talk English. I always loved English. I knew, UK, obviously everyone speaks English here. So, and combining that with working with everyone and just the overall experience, it was worth it, and I did enjoy it. So yeah, on the downside, I am in crippling debt, but I'll handle that. I can handle it.
Yeah. We'll get through that. We all will, together.
Do your research. Just keep breathing, don't stress. It's always okay to ask questions. Open days, they do help a lot. I wasn't lucky enough to go to an open day because I couldn't afford it, because obviously from abroad, and I couldn't just keep on. But I did do my research. I knew some people that offered me really good advice. So this all comes down back to do your research. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. Open days help a lot. Think about what you would really enjoy doing, because I knew I really enjoyed doing something creative media, even though I didn't have this like skills or the qualifications like my previous like high school degree or college degree. But if you do have the passion, and this is where I want to spend the next 3 or 4 years of my life, how you can utilize all of tools, sort of speaking, to know more about the course that you want to apply to, or even the region, because it is important as well knowing where you want to go. For me, it was in a different country. For some people, it might be in the next town, or up north, down south, or completely different, and that has an impact as well. Yeah, do what you want to do. You would get yourself in that, but think about it: is it worth it? Like,
is it worth not doing it again?
Yeah. I would have been probably doing something that I don't like, because again, back home, media, not that big, and I would have probably been pushed by, not pushed, but my relatives and especially grandparents, they're always like, oh, you're going to university, oh, what are you applying to? Oh, well, I don't quite like anything that's around here. Oh, what do you mean? You got to do a degree, you got to have a degree, everyone has a degree. Your dad, your mom, your grandpa, your great-grandpa, the cat, the dog, they all have degrees. I would have probably just used all connections that I had to just go straight into a job if I could in the media. I am lucky enough to have someone in my family that does work in the TV industry back home and has some connections, and I probably use that to, get into a really starting position level in television or something. But if I didn't have that, and am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
I would have been screwed. I would have been so screwed.
It's hardly a swear word.
For me, it is.